Brace yourself, SpongeBob. This is my lab! And this is my laboratory! Good afternoon, Genesys gamers. I'm MBT, and this is 100 Point Playtesting. We're back on the new points list on a quest to find something to break. Well, for some unknown reason, Labyrinth, the deck that's already fine, just got a fat discount. So let's once again take it to the halls. Presenting Labyrinth. So here's the list, which is mostly Alfredo Zapata's top 4 list from the Central American Genesys WCQ. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Looking for a place to find inspiration for Genesys decks? Well, look no further. I've already spent years telling you about how Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the best repository of deck lists, strategy articles, third-party assistance with alternate ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, and card collection management on the internet. But right now, it's also the best way to find Genesys lists. You can sort by deck type, filter high-level tournaments to see what's been working, and download decks you see in any format you desire. That's why I'm proud to be sponsored by www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's look at Labyrinth. Labyrinth is a series of fiend monsters and traps that summon fiend monsters and set traps. Styled around a lesbian femcell, this archetype speaks to a specific archetype of Yugist, women who can't get pussy. Unfortunately, they also can't get wins in Genesys, courtesy of the insane cost applied to these cards by the point list. That all changed last week when a pair of decreases took a deck that was already pretty close and gave it considerably more room to wiggle. We've taken Alfredo's list and just jammed in the third welcome and big welcome, though it might be just as good to play 2-2 with some non-engine. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First up, we have got 3 copies of Arius, 3 copies of Ariana, and 1 copy of Ariane. We're playing 3 copies of Labyrinth, Stovey, Torby, 3 Chandra Liger, and 1 Kuklok, alongside 1 lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. We need something to discard, so here's 3 Backjack, and one thing that I really loved from Alfredo's list, a Soul Resonator, a Vision Resonator, and a Crimson Gaia. A Soul Resonator is just unbelievable. It searches everything. We're on 1 Lab, and then the trap cards, 2 Punishment, 1 Golem, double Ice Dragon's Prison, 2 Ichiro's Ledger Book, 2 Tears of the Overroot, and then the pointed cards, 3 Big Welcome, 3 Welcome, and 3 Trap Trick in the extra. We've got mostly a bunch of targets for that Dogmatic Punishment, Ultimate Dragon, Berfomet, Fossil Warrior Skull Knight, Chimera, Blazing Bombardment Beast, Fossil Machine Skull Wagon, RDA, Enigmaster Packbit, Groza Tyrant of Thunder, Wind Pegasus Adagnister, Prima Donna, Infernity Doom Archfiend Valon, Exciton Knight, and Onibi Maru in the side. This is completely my doing. His side was different because it incorporated points, but here we've got Kumungus, Skullmeister, Blizzard, 2 PBS, 3 Twister, and a Cosmic Cyclone. So with that, let's check out a match. Our match is up against White Forest with a little bit of a Dogmatic Calamity package. I think that's really neat. Unfortunately, our opponent's not going to be able to flex it too much in game 1 because we are going first. This hand is a little Balatro, but shockingly, the Crimson Gaia really opens it up. We'll use it to get a copy of Soul Resonator, then afterwards we can summon that Soul Resonator and use it to get a Kuklok. From here, we can activate the effect of the Kuklok and then activate the effect of the Stovey Torby in order to set a copy of Big Welcome. We'll trigger the effect of the Kuklok, summoning it to our side of the field, then afterwards activating the Big Welcome for a copy of Ariana. We'll activate her effect alongside the effect of the Torbian Graveyard, summoning it back alongside the Ariana from hand, whose effect we will activate for a Welcome Labyrinth. From here, we can go ahead and set the Welcome, pass turn, then, of course, as early as possible, fire the Kuklok, followed by the Torby, setting a Big Welcome Labyrinth, and activate Absolute King Backjack afterwards, cycling back and passing to our opponent. They'll begin with a copy of Sylvia the White Forest for a copy of their Search spell. Now, that requires an illusion on their side of the field, so I'm going to pull the trigger now. We're going to go for the Welcome for Lovely Lab, then we'll activate Big Welcome for Arius, which returns a card on the field of the hand, triggering the Lovely Lab, and the Ariana, and the Ariane, and the Stovey Torby in order to get a whole bunch of cards in the back row, and the Backjack activation as well. The reason I didn't when it was first sent is we saw 3 monsters. Our opponent's going to set 5 and pass turn, should just be a hop, skip, and a jump to lethal here. We'll activate the effect of the Kuklok, then activate the effect of the Stovey Torby for a Lab. We will flip that sucker up after resolving the Kuklok, which means that we can pop our opponent's cards when we activate Welcome Labyrinth. We'll set the toy box to the graveyard and get in for 15, 15, 16, 18, and 29, well over lethal. So that's how the deck performs on the play. What does it do on the draw? This one ain't so good. Not exactly the hand you want to see. Our opponent has drawn the Dogmatic Calamity half of their deck here, so they're going to go Dogmatic Matrix and go for Dogmatic Calamity. Now, unfortunately, this is a dog shit bad matchup for them. This Dogmatica Albazoa can't really activate its effect because they expect our extra deck is full of stuff that we want to send. That is correct, by the way. They'll go Garura to draw a card and then Sylvie for a copy of their search spell. They're going to set a card and pass back to us here at end step. They can trigger their Dogmatica in the graveyard for an Ecclesia and then activate its effect for the free 8 Fleur-de-Lis. That's still a lot to chew through, and we don't have too much with which to do it. We are going to go ahead and summon this copy of Soul Resonator. We'll use it for a Chandra Liger. That's a great way to get the Backjack out of our hand, which we will do first. We'll set the Welcome Labyrinth, trigger the effect of the Backjack, stack the top of the deck, and then just set the entire hand. And end step, our opponent's going to Final Bringer our back row, the known Welcome Labyrinth, and then we'll activate the Backjack to set a copy of Tears of the Overroot in their draw. We'll go for our big Welcome. They'll go for Final Bringer. We will IDP to get this Sylvie off the board. Then we'll summon a Coup Clock, return it, and pop this copy of Albazoa. At point of resolution, we can bring back the Soul Resonator and the Coup Clock and the Welcome Labyrinth and Soul Resonator for a Stovey Torby. After that, we can just go ahead and go to the main phase, at which point our opponent can go for Dogmatica Macabre. We will activate the effect of Coup Clock and the effect of the Stovey Torby for a Welcome Labyrinth, and then afterwards we can get back the Coup Clock into a Tears of the Overroot, cycling their Ritual spell and setting Dogmatic Calamity. From here, we will bring back the Stovey Torby and then activate Welcome Labyrinth at end step, triggering the effect of the Lovely Labyrinth, and going for the Trap Trick as well, which enables us to draw with absolute protection. We will go for the effect of the Stovey Torby here, setting a big Welcome Labyrinth, and activate the Coup Clock so that we can activate the big Welcome Labyrinth for a copy of Ariana, putting back the Soul Resonator, popping our opponent's cards in hand, triggering the effect of the Ariana, bringing back this copy of Stovey Torby, setting the Welcome Labyrinth, summoning out the Soul Resonator, grabbing another Fiend monster, and then after that we can just go ahead and go to the main phase. We'll normal summon this copy of Ariana, we'll trigger the effect of our Lovely Labyrinth. We don't have lethal here, and I don't think we have a way to get there without a specific suite of synchros that I'm just not playing, but we'll just go ahead and go to main phase 2, set the Trap Trick, and we should be able to clean it up from this position. They'll draw for turn, activate the effect of their LZ into an Esteller, and then afterwards we will just go ahead and allow them to reset the tails on our way to popping their monster in the back row with Valen and Dogmatica Punishment. We'll trigger 15 different effects in order to draw 19 different cards and set 100 different traps, pop a card from their hand, it's the Esteller, and then they'll scoop. So we're back with the deck, and wow, that was not close. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. Wow, does it feel good to play this deck without having to worry about Ash Blossom. I really can't stress enough how much of a load off it is to just have to worry about Bell. 2, it is really powerful. After just a single turn of going off, you've got enough advantage to drown your opponent in women. And 3, it is hard to interact with this deck. There's not a ton of spell trap removal in this format, so you get away with a lot. And the cons. 1, the zones, actually. I wouldn't have expected this, but being able to make links really makes the TCG deck a lot more forgiving. 2, you've got some bad matchups. Cards that resist destruction, early dealing with the field spell, and more. And 3, boarding. This build has almost no room for cool stuff out of the board, which means post-board, you're going to be up against a wall, while your opponent is going to slot in some Twin Twisters. All in all, this is a really strong deck, and I honestly think it's a great fit for the upcoming format.